Yeah, y'all, what's up? I want to apologize, first of all, you know what I'm saying, for yesterday. You know, I got caught up in some stuff, and I wasn't able to make it, but I'm here today. Yeah, y'all already know what it is. Stacks Luciano, a.k.a. VirgilBerry, or should I say VirgilBerry, a.k.a. Stacks Luciano, and we at A Real Talk Podcast. You know, I don't got no sponsors right now. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all know anybody who is willing to sponsor an up-and-coming personality podcaster, you know, whatever y'all want to call it, get at me. Y'all already know what it is. My cell phone number is 614-822-6315. Or you can get on me at Facebook. Just type VirgilBerry in there. Or you can get with me, Instagram at Berry.Virgil, or you can get with me on Twitter at capital BERRY, the number 2, capital VIRGIL. Once again, y'all are tuned in to A Real Talk Podcast with your host, VirgilBerry, aka Stacks Luciano. And today's topic is a very sensitive topic. I'm pretty sure a lot of people might even be offended by this, but who cares, right? We don't give a damn about anybody being offended at A Real Talk Podcast because we don't intentionally offend people. What I do here and what we're going to be doing here at A Real Talk Podcast is we're going to present the facts. Nothing more, nothing less. And you make of that shit what you will, right? You make your own mind up about what it is you're being told. Because you have the ability to do that. I trust in your ability to make a wise decision for yourself. You know what I mean? And what we're going to start doing on A Real Talk Podcast is for the first 30 minutes of every show, or for the first 5 minutes of every show, we're going to briefly, and very briefly might I add, talk about current events, right? Now today, just in case y'all ain't know, it's been a very eventful day and a very eventful morning. First news of the day is we got Greta Thunberg. Now, as y'all might have tuned in to my last episode, I went in on Greta Thunberg just for a brief second. Now, y'all know this climate change thing is a hoax, right? It's a massive PSYOP campaign to manipulate the world's youth into pressuring governments into passing what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez refers to as her new Green Deal laws, right? Now, with these new Green Deal laws, they are going to be implementing Agenda 2030, which we will get into in time to come on A Real Talk Podcast. We definitely is going to be getting into that for real. Y'all can believe that. So we got Greta Thunberg gave her speech last week, basically intimidating the adults and the governments of the world to abide by these new green deals and cut carbon emissions or else. Which is very sad because she's being exploited to an extent and degree that not even she understands. Because the science, she says the science proves it. Look at the science is what the little girl says. But when you look at the science is categorically manipulated and inverted. Now on to other news today. We have Gordon McMillan, right? We have Gordon McMillan on the executive board at Twitter, right? Not only that, he is also a soldier serving in the British Army in the 77th Brigade, which is the PSYOPs unit. Now, Twitter being one of the social engineering, and we're not going to call them social networking. We're not going to call them social media. We're going to call them social engineering platforms because that's what they are. And that's what we're going to call them, right? We're going to call them what they is, y'all. We ain't going to be messing around with this BS. We're going to call them what they is, man. Social programming, social engineering. That's what they specialize in anyway, all right? You got Gordon McMillan. You can't make this up. This dude has the audacity to go around and try to tell us through Twitter what we can and can't say, what's offensive, what's fake news, right? We saying things and putting things on Twitter that's causing people to be offended and may cause somebody to do some violent acts, right? When he is in the military, of the British military, in the special unit that is trained specifically to spread propaganda and disinformation. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, y'all, man. So, that's a brief cap of today's news. We're going to be getting into both of these topics as the podcast progresses. But now we're going to get into the meat and the potatoes of today's discussion, which is Kamala criminal ass, fake ass Harris, right? Now, mind you, Kamala Harris at one point in time was the Attorney General of California, right? That means she was the head prosecutor of the entire state of California, right? And in her position as being Attorney General, she was involved with a lot of criminal activity. So we're going to start with the thing that brought Kamala's name out in the open again was this thing with Diablo Canyon in San Cristobal, California, which just was deemed to be decommissioned in 2025, just last year. Now, here's how we're going to connect all the dots, but just listen to the breakdown. PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, is going through a bankruptcy, and they have a $36 billion liability for starting those California fires back in 2015 when they first started, right? Now, mind y'all, Diablo Canyon, the nuclear facility deemed to be closed and decommissioned in 2025, is owned by PG&E, which is owned by the Rothschild family. Now, Pacific Gas and Electric, they are going through a bankruptcy right now. Diablo Canyon was not built to withstand the seismic activity that the fault line it lays on generates. Now, Diablo Canyon in San Cristobal, California, lies on between two fault lines, the shoreline fault line and what's the other one? And what's the other fault line? It's the shoreline fault line, and it's another one. But I know one of them is the shoreline fault line, which recently was discovered, and this is where Kamala Harris came in at. So we got Diablo Canyon that's due to be shut down, right? Now, this is where the link between Diablo Canyon and Kamala Harris comes in. This last year, there was a case in California's Supreme Court, and Kamala Harris at the time was the presiding Attorney General. Now, there was a scandal called the Southern California Edison Collusion and Criminal Investigation. What this is the guy, his name is Michael Peavy. I want to make a correction. I said Michael Peck or Michael Fitzpatrick. I was incorrect on that. His name is Michael Peavy. He used to be the head of the California Public Utilities Commission. Now, when this case right here went public, he stood down and he went to go work for some company called Solaren. Now, let's get into Michael Peavy. Michael Peavy was the head before going to Solaren. Michael Peavy attended a meeting in this Edison collusion and criminal investigation. He attended a meeting with a rep from Southern California Edison at a hotel in Warsaw, Poland back in 2014. And they put together a document that would have the ratepayers, or the people who pay their electric and gas bill in California, it would have had them paying $3.3 billion, or 70% of the $4.7 billion that the decommissioning cost of the San Onofre nuclear plant was going to cost the state of California. Now, Kamala Harris was the attorney general at the time, and she let that evidence sit. She let the evidence of Mike Peavy's interaction with a foreign body to draft up plans to charge California customers the bulk of the decommission costs, when the state of California, or should I say PG&E, should have been picking up the bulk of that cost. So what PG&E did is that they rate the heights. They hiked the rates for their ratepayers, and the ratepayers end up having to pay the $3.3 billion of the $4.7 billion cost, saving PG&E $3.3 billion. Now, if that ain't no criminal shit, I don't know what is. Now, Kamala Harris, the attorney general at the time, she literally let this evidence sit and not be heard in court. Why? Because she was running for Senate at the time. And why did she let the evidence sit? Because Michael Peavy is good friends, or was good friends, with then California Governor Jerry Brown. So as a favor to Mike Peavy, to get Jerry Brown to give her the go ahead and the okay and the blessing to be the senator, as being attorney general, she let this evidence sit and not be shown in courts. So what ended up happening? They closed down Onofre nuclear facility. Michael Peavy got a clean away unscathed, and the policies still go on to this day that he set. Yes, in California, y'all are paying way more than what y'all should be paying. Y'all paying for the decommissioning cost of Diablo Canyon. And here we got Kamala Harris end up coming to senator. Now she's running for president. Right? Now, mind you, it was a guy who worked for the Nuclear Research Commission in California. His name was Michael Peck. Michael Peck was an inspector at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Michael Peck inspected Diablo Canyon back in 2017, and he deemed it should have been closed down then, right? So guess who was the attorney general at the time? Guess who did the same thing that they did at Onofre at Diablo? Kamala Harris. Now, if y'all don't know what Solaren is a solar-based power company that harnesses the electrical magnetic force of the outer space and beams it in a beam of energy down to Earth. We'll get into that later too. We're now turning down to the last end of the A Real Talk podcast for Monday, or should I say Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. Like I said, once again, this is A Real Talk podcast. This is Virgil Berry, a.k.a. Stacks Luciano. Y'all can get at me on Facebook. Just type in the search engine, Virgil Berry. And y'all going to see my face with the glasses on. Make sure it's Virgil Berry from Columbus, Ohio, right? Y'all can get with me on Twitter at capital BERRY, the number 2, capital VIRGIL. And y'all can get with me on Instagram at BERRY.VIRGIL, all lowercase letters. Y'all be easy. Like I said, I don't got no sponsors right now. If y'all know anybody that want to sponsor a young up-and-coming podcaster and radio personality, get with me. Until then, challenge everything, question everything. Don't believe anything you hear or you're told, even if you hear it by me. So with that being said, y'all have a blessed afternoon. And like I always say, question everything, even the stuff you hear me say. Peace.